Huge thanks to our sponsors. While watching our sessions, you can win exciting prizes. So check ending slides with links to surveys and check meetings chat for surveys. And today I will talk about securing how to secure Microsoft Teams meeting. It's quite interesting topic because meetings should be secured or should be secure. And in fact, some features are by default enabled, some you need to do by yourself, some you need to buy. So it's quite interesting topic. But before we start, I'm from Warsaw, Poland. I work with teams and stuff around modern workplace. So SharePoint, a lot of SharePoint. I've been working with SharePoint since, I've been working for 16 years now. Wow, that's a lot of time. 17, oh my God, no, 17 years. I'm a huge Teams enthusiast. I adopt a lot of Teams. I help companies adopting Teams in various scenarios. I'm also a community speaker and I'm one of the Collab Days Poland organizer team. You can find me on LinkedIn, on X or Twitter, or you can check my blog site. But today I will show you and go through all available security options that you can find in Teams. Then I will add some premium features that you need to acquire additionally, you need to buy. And I will show you how to build a baseline for your security in meetings. And I will introduce tiers of protection, this kind of security model that you can use to help protect your important meetings, important information that you share or your users share during meetings. So first, of course, Teams meetings are secured by default. So don't assume that there's something unsecure. You need to do something, configure it in another way to make it secure. No, Teams meetings are secured. All traffic, all stuff is encrypted using TLS, using SRTP. So it is secured by default the same way as any other Microsoft 365 services. For example, emails, SharePoint, Teams chats, Planner, etc. So all transfer, all data transferred through internet are secured by default. But there are some additional options that you can use to make it my cats are fighting. That's not a good sign. But you can configure some additional features to gain more control over your meeting, over your data shared during meetings. So you can configure anonymous access, how anonymous users and even guests work with your meetings, what they can do, what they can't do. You can configure and control lobby bypass. This is one of the most underrated feature, I think, because it can, well, it leads many organizations to some unsecured scenarios. And there is one additional auto recording, which is also, well, you can consider it also as a secure feature, because in some cases it can lead to data leaks, even for guests, even for anonymous users, which is a little bit tricky, but it is how it works. So those are default security options. Not many, but because by default it is all secured, but you can add some or gain some additional control. But there are more. Microsoft introduced Teams premium features this year, so you can buy additional licenses to gain some additional features, and some of them are strictly related to security. First, there are watermarks, so you can add some watermarks to your shared content or shared video feeds to make it a little bit more, make it harder to copy. It's harder to make a screenshot and share it somewhere else, because all shared content get your own email address on top of the video. You can use sensitivity labels. This one is great if you have in large scenarios, large organizations. You can add something more. You can use sensitivity labels from Microsoft Purview to make it more consistent, more security features in one place. Then you can use end-to-end encryption, so additional layer of encryption in large meetings. By default, all is encrypted in one-to-one meeting, but if we talk about meetings, large meetings up to 50 users, well, you can use this additional encryption only using premium features. You can also control who can record. This is tiny little feature only in Teams Premium, which is sad, but you can control who can record. Extremely important in some, for example, management meetings or some kind of meetings where people share confidential information. Then you can create templates in Teams. So people using those templates, they get predefined configuration. So they don't need to think about lobby configuration, end-to-end encryption, watermarks, sensitive labels, etc. So all stuff is configured by default for them. So just click schedule a meeting and that's it. And you can also add, this is another one, a tiny little feature, you can prevent copy-paste from meeting chats. So if you want to make a chat during meeting read only, without any copy-paste features, without in fact copying data from it, you can enable it using this premium feature. So there are a lot of features, more features in premium licenses, but those are strictly related to security. I will go through all of them with some details, and then I will show you that on my demo. So about watermarks, this is pretty interesting feature. You can add watermark to shared content and shared video streams. It's great because all participants will get their own email address on top of the shared information. In this case, a shared screen. And you can't remove it. You can, of course, you can take a screenshot or record that shared information, but you can't share it as is. Of course, you can recreate that information by your own, but you can't use it as is. And watermarks works on shared content and video feed, only on those two features. But if you enable watermarks, you won't be able to record a meeting, use large gallery or together mode, and PowerPoint Live won't be available, and whiteboard is also not available when you enable watermarks. So if you need to protect your shared information, you can enable watermarks before the meeting. This is important. You can't turn it on or turn it off if a meeting is running, so you need to prepare for it. Enable, start, but you will lose some features during the meeting. The next one, end-to-end encryption. This is additional encryption between users in large meetings. You can use audio and video and screen sharing, so all common features are there. But live captions and transcriptions are disabled, simply not available for you. Recordings as well, all together mode, large gallery and companion mode are also not available, and breakout rooms are not here. And PowerPoint and Excel Live are also disabled in this mode. So during during meetings with additional security with end-to-end encryption, you can only share audio, video, and screen sharing. So pretty common and base channels for sharing information, but that's all. You will lose all additional fancy features. Then sensitivity labels. This one is great if you need to control large organizations, meetings with multiple departments, a lot of confidential information. It's great. So you can assign sensitivity labels from Microsoft Purview for dedicated Teams meetings, and then those meetings will inherit all those information, all those settings from sensitivity label. So, for example, you can specify if encryption is enabled. You can enable watermarks, configure recording settings, maybe configure some additional information from sensitivity label, such as watermarks on shared documents, forwarding emails, invitation emails, etc. So you can configure a lot of stuff, a lot of features for your Teams meetings and stuff around Teams meetings. But to do that, you need to acquire Teams Premium license and license for security, for example, E5 or E5 compliance, F5 compliance, and so on. So this requires a lot of more effort to configure and more licenses. So this is the most expensive one. But in large organizations, if you use sensitivity labels, it's no-brainer. You can quickly enable it and just add additional security layer to your meetings. And templates. This is very basic, I think, basic feature, or very basic, and should be by default enabled for in Teams for many years, but it was enabled this year. So you can create custom meeting templates. And this template will be, or those templates will be available for your users directly in Calendar. And you can configure security options. You can configure also features related to audio and video, recordings, transcriptions, roles, stuff about meeting engagement, and so on. So when someone use this template and create an invitation for a meeting, they will get all those things configured without any additional thinking, configuration stuff, and so on. Pretty easy to do. And for users, for end users, it's really, well, it's integrated with Teams. So just select a meeting, and that's it. Very easy to consume for users. And you can assign templates using Teams policies. So you can, for example, create a meeting template for HR department and display this meeting template only for people from HR department. So you can configure who can use which template directly in Teams. Okay, so let's switch to demo, because this is the most important, I think. And let's go there. So now those features I will show you, this is environment without Teams Premium licenses. So common Teams license, I will create a new meeting. I will invite someone, maybe my test user, John, and that's it. Okay, this is this meeting. I will go to options. And the most important part, of course, before the meeting, well, most people should go and check meeting options. Because there are so many options, and some of them are related to security. Okay, this is, okay, looks all in one screen, great. So first, and the most important in my opinion, is this one. So you can configure who can bypass the lobby. By default, in many organizations, and from my practice, from my experience, it's common configuration, not to say misconfiguration, that people do not configure this option and let everyone bypass the lobby automatically. So it means that if you join such meeting and you're not part of that company, you can bypass the lobby and join the meeting automatically. If you're the first one, you will automatically start the meeting. If there's any discussion, you can just hear that discussion. You can make notes and so on. And in some cases, it can lead to some data leaks because people can simply hear and or maybe watch some information that are not allowed for them. Because to be honest, if there's large meetings, no one control who is joining right now. If people from outside your organization are there, and maybe in some cases you can talk too much about some specific topic. So it's a good practice to at least configure it or think about this. What is good for you? In some cases, it would be this one. So people in my company, maybe in the end, some trusted organization and guests without any anonymous users, or maybe only people who were invited. So if you invite someone, those people will automatically bypass the lobby and join the meeting immediately without any waiting rooms. If there's someone else, well, those people will need to wait for your approval. Or only people in my organization. And to be honest, this is the best one because other people, guests, people from trusted organization and so on, they will simply wait in the lobby and wait for your action, for your approval, or maybe you will not allow them to enter your meeting. And this one should be configured for entire organization directly in Teams admin center. The next one is record automatically. This is pretty tricky feature. Why? Because in some cases it's great because you don't need to think, you don't need to remember about recording. Just when meeting's enabled, when meeting starts, that's it. Recording is started automatically, and you will get information about the recorded file after the meeting. Great, but in reality, recording starts every time a meeting is started. So, for example, if you join the meeting to test something and leave, join again and leave again, you will get additional recordings. But if you, for some reason, maybe this one, enable record automatically, and you will let everyone bypass the lobby, and for some reason you will invite anonymous user to your meeting. Well, that anonymous user in some scenarios can trigger auto recording and then can download the recording file, because the recording file will be available directly in the meeting chat. It's quite a rare situation, quite a rare scenario, but think about that if it's really needed, if it's really important for you to share or to enable auto recording for your meetings. In some cases, it's great, but think about it before you just click yes. Then, of course, meeting chat. You can configure if it's enabled, disabled, or available only in meeting during the meeting. And in some cases, this option, this configuration is the best one, because I had it's a real life example. I had a situation, a case when customer, huge customer, more than 10,000 users, create a meeting, invite people, and someone from top management posted something, pasted something in that past meeting chat, and guests had access to that chat, and some information simply leaked from company, and that guy from the management, and because that guy from management he pasted something about financial stuff and so on. So it could be a potential source of data leaks. So if you create a security policy or think about how to protect your meetings, how to protect your users on meetings, think about this feature. You can control if a chat is enabled during the meeting only, then it will be disabled, or you can even completely disable chat from meetings. In some cases, it's also good option. By default, it is enabled, so everyone can read it, everyone can paste something, but you can also read the chat after the meeting because it is, well, it will live forever. And maybe not strictly related to security, but I strongly suggest to think about choosing co-organizers because in some cases it will save your meetings and helps you a lot because someone else will get full options to your meeting. So someone from your organization can join and maybe enable something, disable some feature, maybe protect, enable some additional protection, or maybe disable that protection and allow people enter the meeting. Not strictly related to security, but very important. And as you can see, those features are available for everyone who create a meeting. So everyone can simply go there and change those features. But now let's go to this one, to Teams Premium features, because during the standard meeting, you can only configure some additional features, but in Teams Premium license, in Teams Premium, there are a lot more. I prepared here a meeting. Now you go to configuration options in web browser. Okay. And I will show you what's different between Teams Standard and Teams Premium. So I will now open Teams settings, meeting options. And as you can see, there are a lot more. First, we will start from watermarks. There are two options: apply watermark to shared content and apply watermark to everyone's video feed. And if you want to use this feature, you need to enable it and save this feature, save this selection before the meeting. It's extremely important because you won't be able to do this during the meeting. So you can enable watermarks, and you can configure if this pattern is repeated or a single, and set transparency level. If it's lower, so 1%, so it will be barely visible, or maybe even not visible on some bright, maybe white backgrounds. But if you set it to 100%, it will be clearly visible, or on not on white backgrounds, not on white windows. And you can do the same for example, video feeds. When you configure it, and if you share some information, all users will get this screen, this their own email address on everything that will be shared during the meeting. So if someone will copy or make a screenshot from the meeting and share it somewhere else without any modifications, you can clearly and quickly identify that specific person. So this is about watermarks. The next one is, of course, end-to-end encryption. It is disabled here because I configure it in sensitivity label, but without a label, this label is here, I will remove it. End-to-end encryption, I can go and enable or disable this encryption. And the same case, you need to do this before the meeting. you can't do this during the meeting. So you can't just join the meeting and enable, disable, just play with this feature. No, enable, and then all users, all attendees will get end-to-end encryption enabled, and that's it. So you can enable it before the meeting or make it disabled. And those two features are well, very restrictive. If you check what happens, if I click yes, maybe it's not visible. Yeah, if I enable that one, so auto recording is automatically disabled because recording won't be available during such meeting. And same for watermarks. So if you want to enable auto recording and add end-to-end encryption, well, you can't do this. If you enable end-to-end encryption, some features will be disabled by default and you can't do anything about that because simply those features are not, well, they don't work together with end-to-end encryption and watermark. So there are some limitations and you simply need to accept that. But that's those two information. How does it work? Now this one. Okay, I will join this meeting from my demo environment. Yes, join without an audio, video, doesn't matter. Okay. Okay. And as you can see, there is information that this meeting is end-to-end encrypted. Great. And this is also, there is also this tiny icon, shield and logpad in the left top place here. It means that this meeting uses additional encryption end-to-end. And if I click this, I will get this information. So this meeting is, the end-to-end encryption is enabled for this meeting. That's one thing. And there is some additional information, some kind of security string that you can compare with other participants, other attendees. And this must be the same for all. And by default it is. But if for some reason someone is sneaking or something is, well, hacking your meeting, and he just joined for in some way, he's inside your infrastructure, maybe he is, or inside your attendees infrastructure, and simply modify this traffic between you and other attendees, those strings will be different. So this is clearly and quite simply way to check if someone hacked your meeting or not. I will now show you that in the next part. This is the, I must join the same meeting. So I'm joining from a different virtual machine. Yes, great. Okay. I click this one, and as you can see, those two strings are the same, and they must be the same. Yes, great. So there's nothing, there's no man in the middle. No one is, sneaking. No one is checking or trafficking here. Simply, this means that this connection is secured and this end-to-end encryption works properly and as expected. And everyone will get this information. So if you join such meeting, you will get information that, hey, this meeting is additionally encrypted. And so it means by default that it is somehow protected, and there may be shared some confidential information. So keep this in mind. I will leave now. And the next one is I want to show you templates, because this is a great feature and it correlates with sensitivity labels. We have 14 minutes. I think I can do that. Let's go to Teams Admin Center now. Because you to configure Teams templates, you need to be Teams administrator and prepare such feature for your users. So in Teams meetings, the left-hand section, and there are two options: meeting templates and meeting template policies. And simply in meeting templates, you can create such template. Simply click add. I will show you how it what it looks like in this case. So I created HR template before this session, and I configured lobby option, so only people in my organization can enter. I enable end-to-end encryption, watermarks. I can disable maybe some audio and video. I can select who can record. Copilot is not the case here. I can assign roles, maybe configure some meeting engagement. For example, I can disable or enable Q&A panel and so on, and then save it. And using meeting templates policy, I can assign it to everyone in this case, or maybe for some specific group of people. Pretty simple to configure, but from the end user, it's also really straightforward to use it, because in Teams meeting, in Teams calendar, you can quickly go there to new meeting, to this drop down. And there is custom templates. And this is my HR template. So if I use this one, as you can see, all those options in the right-hand pane are pre-configured for me. Some of them are grayed out, so I can't change them, simply because I did some configuration in my template. Because if I go back to this template, wait a moment, this one. Oh, come on. I forget about that one. So if you configure something for users in template, for example, watermark for screen share, you can also lock it or unlock it. If it's locked, it means that Teams meeting owner won't be able to change this option. But if it's unlocked, means that the Teams owner will be able to change this feature. So I can control if, for example, watermark can be changed or not. For some cases, I want to lock those features, so people won't be able to modify this predefined template and simply use it as is. So this creates, you can quick configure what is possible, what is pre-configured by default, and what is possible to change for your users. And then simply use such template from Teams meetings. But the last part is those features available directly in Microsoft Purview in sensitivity labels. So you can create such label inside Microsoft Purview. If you are familiar with this, it works the same way as any other label inside Purview. I will show you only those features related to Teams. So there's, of course, some naming, colors, it doesn't matter, and scope. And this one is available only for Teams premium features. So you need to acquire this feature to configure this label. So you can enable protect calendar and event scheduled in Outlook and or in Teams. But of course, you can add, because you are using labels, you can add any other features, any other scope, configuration options from labels. So you can create a label that will configure email, files, group and sites, and meetings. So you don't need to only focus on meetings. And what is inside? And there is, you can protect meetings and chats. This is important. And inside, there are a lot of, this one. So you can control who can bypass the lobby, who can present, who can record, end-to-end encryption, watermarks. You can control meeting chat and prevent copying chat content to clipboard. So you can quickly quickly configure all your options and then save it. And using these sensitivity labels, you will get some additional features, not strictly related to Teams meetings, but for files, for Teams groups, for information you send by email, etc. So it's a great option if you want to control security from one place. And then when you create such label, I want to modify it, you can enable that label using label policy. Okay, I will edit that. And then, yes, you can apply this label for a specific group of people or maybe for all. And using those settings, you can simply enable this label for by default. So for example, if you create a label for HR people, HR department, or maybe finance department, then you can enable this label and apply this label automatically for all people from finance department. So they won't be able to use any other Teams meeting template or options. They will be forced and they will simply use those security features by default. For example, if the meeting is created by someone from finance department, watermarks will be automatically applied and there won't be any other choice to disable that features. Of course, you can configure it a little bit less restrictive. For example, users can remove label, so lower the security of the meeting, but they need to provide some justification, and this justification will be saved. So you can simply check later why this security options were lowered or removed completely. And you can, so this is, so you can configure it directly in Microsoft Purview. So that's great. But you can also assign this label using Microsoft Teams template. If you create a template, you can simply select this sensitivity label. So your template will get additional security features directly from sensitivity labels. So a little bit complicated, but you can control everything, every aspect, or almost everything, or almost every single aspect of your meetings from template and sensitivity label. And for end user, if I want to create a new meeting, as you can see, this HR template is automatically, HR sensitivity label is automatically applied, and I can't change it. It's simply there. I have to use it. Of course, in my scenario, I can remove it, but by default, it's here and apply all security features that I created. Okay, and the last part, well, I strongly suggest that you should build some kind of baseline. So review your default settings. If you have admin access, this is a must-have task for you. And simply create some meeting policies and check and configure bypass lobby option, recording options, and so on. So this is the most important option, and you must do this, because otherwise you won't be able to control meetings. But Microsoft proposed something, some kind of tiers of protection, some idea how to create different tiers. And it's a great idea, but it works only with Teams Premium license, because only then you will get those additional features as watermarks, end-to-end encryption, meeting chat configurations, and sensitivity labels. But you can create many multiple tiers of protection. For example, in this case, there is baseline for everyone for standard meetings, some kind of sensitivity meeting, when you need to control something a little bit more, and highly sensitive for example, for financial information, maybe some information about management and so on. And then you can simply create templates and sensitivity labels together to apply specific options. For example, in baseline, you won't apply watermarks and end-to-end encryption, so just control that chat is enabled. In sensitivity meetings, well, you can enable watermarks and maybe apply some basic sensitivity labels for your meetings. And for highly sensitive meetings with confidential information inside and high risk of data leak, you can enable watermarks and end-to-end encryption, disable meeting chat, add strong sensitivity labels from Microsoft Purview, and apply those automatically for all users that well, should use it by default. Yeah, but full protection requires full features, all features, so Teams Premium license and some features from Microsoft Purview, so E5 or some additional security add-ons for your license. So it will cost more, but will get you, will give you more control. Okay, and that's all from my side. Do you have any questions? If you have any questions, we have at least 1 minute, I think. No more questions. But if you have any question, you can find me on Twitter or X or LinkedIn, or type it in chat here. I will be there for some at least 30 minutes.